Thank you very much, and thank you for having us here. So, again, my name's Evan Whitelock. I'm the Director of Customer Solutions at Aeris Communications. What I'm going to be doing, first I have a quick slide, a little bit about who Aeris is and what we do in the M2M space, and then I'm going to jump to our web portal, which is sort of our user interface for our platform. And so, to give a little background, who Aeris is, we are a cellular communications provider strictly for the M2M space. For 2G, 3G, and soon to be 4G connectivity across GSM, CDMA, and LTE. We've been around since the early 90s providing connectivity for M2M solutions. As we made the jump to cellular, we actually built out an entire core network strictly for M2M and optimized those network elements for machine data as opposed to consumer handset data. And it's enabled us to be very successful in providing a reliable network for solutions that need mission-critical reliability. So, in addition to our connectivity, we combine it with our connectivity platform, which is everything from device management to deep view of the network for troubleshooting purposes and things I'll get to in a minute. It really is a true horizontal platform, and that no M2M solution, will go unsupported with our platform. As you can see, just a few different verticals that we support, but also includes into point of sale, remote monitoring, agriculture, really across the board. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk through our portal and focus on how Hyundai uses it to support their BlueLink program, which is running on our network, and sort of use that to highlight some of the features of the platform itself. If we jump in. So right now it's going to load our dashboard, which is going to be the first thing that customers see when they log into their account with us. It's going to bring up a high-level view of what devices are doing on the network, and then as well as some troubleshooting tools that we provide. Before we jump into that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the provisioning tab and walk through the process of how you really start the life cycle of an M2M device on our platform, and walk through some of the unique features of our provisioning platform that Hyundai uses to really reduce a lot of their costs, specifically when working through the supply chain. So when we look at what it takes to provision a device on the network, really all we need from our end or from the customer's end is the hardware number of the device, ESN MEID. We give the option to either provision one device at a time or batch load up to 10,000 devices at any given time. Hyundai, as you can imagine, primarily does batch uploads for their cars. Now, when we look at what really sticks out to not only Hyundai but the rest of our customers, in addition to be able to enter whatever custom information they need to see, free enter fields that when they look up a device later on, they can see whatever information they need to, or assign a device to a report group. Could be, in the case of a company like Hyundai, if they want to keep track of which cars go to which dealership, they can assign, any given dealership or state or however works for them, a report group. And then later on, you'll see that you can either set alerts on that report group or run traffic reports on that report group. But what I'm going to talk about here, which makes the biggest difference to Hyundai and really the majority of our customers, is what we can do with the provision state. And what that is that when we activate a device, we can either provision and start billing, and that's just the normal activation switch, and it resumes the normal monthly billing cycle. Or you can put it in the provision-only state. What that is it puts the device in a full network connectivity state. It has full access and connectivity to the network if it wants to be used, say tested in the manufacturing facility. However, it's not in a billable state just yet, and it won't until the device exceeds its predefined data thresholds, which we figured out with Hyundai just by taking a look at what they needed to test in the factory and then setting it for there. So how Hyundai uses this really start to finish is that when they activate the cars in their manufacturing facilities, whether they're overseas in Korea or here in the US, they can activate the device and test it, make sure it's working properly. And so they don't have to worry about the customer when they drive off the lot, it not working properly. However, from that time to the point that it ultimately is going to get driven off the lot is potentially months of a device being shipped or sitting on a dealer lot or whatnot, where in a lot of standard provisioning cycles, it's just going to be sitting there getting monthly recurring bills. We've eliminated that so that during that time in the supply chain, it's not receiving any monthly recurring fees. And then once, if I go buy a Hyundai and drive it off the lot and I start playing with the BlueLink program, we see the network triggers. We see that device trigger on the network, and then we automatically flip it to billable. So it also eliminates the step, any activation step down the road. When looking at Hyundai, how much this feature itself saved them in the past year, saved them over $1.2 million in unnecessary monthly recurring fees. So it's a very useful tool, again, not only for them, but for all of our customers. Now, once all the fields are filled out and you're ready to actually activate the device, you just come click the Provision tab, and then down here at the bottom of the screen, it's going to immediately show the results. And it's going to give the different phone numbers associated to the device. But it's also going to come up down here and show you it's either going to be a big capital OK, means the device is fully provisioned and ready to go, or it's going to tell you why it failed. If so, it'll provide an error code, and then we can start looking into that right away and get that fixed for you. Our network support team can. So now that the device is activated, I want to jump back to the dashboard tab so we can start to see what are the other tools that you can use to keep an eye on devices once they're out in the field, and also make sure you're understanding not only their behavior, but also on the network side. So what we've done is we've provided two sort of standard alerts that can be offered. Just showing the top 10 users, and then also showing smart network alerts. So what we'll do, for example, one of them is if we see that a device is on the network and it's constantly registering, but it's not sending any data, essentially excessive 0-byte transactions. We'll list that here and notify the customer that you probably want to look into this device because we're seeing some pretty irregular behavior. And so that's one way that we can use sort of big data analytics to highlight devices that could potentially be troublesome before they become a major impact. But if we do find that one device is a problem, say we see at the top of this list it's outside its normal usage profile, just by clicking on the device, it pulls it up down here and brings up information about that device itself. So not only what it's currently doing on the network, what it's done over the last 3 days, as we work through some, there we go. And then also what it's done, last transactions, whether it's 10, 25, 50, 100 or so. And so say, given this information, if you do realize, or if Hyundai or any one of our other customers realizes that there's likely a problem, we give some troubleshooting tools that they can start to work with right away. So the first troubleshooting tool is actually going to be this check mark right here, the network status. If there's a device that's not functioning properly, the first thing you want to know is it a network issue or is it a device issue? So not only will that check tell you what the current state of the network is, we also provide this additional tab up here which lets you know all the different services outside of the network itself, could be VPN or the portal or APIs, and lets you know the current state of those, or if anything's happened in the past week, or at historical RCA, should there be anything there. Then going back to the different tools, if a device is having trouble, say it is experiencing the consistent 0-byte transactions, you can force the device off the network, clear the registration, much like you unplug your internet modem at home and force it to start back up again. Oftentimes doing that is just a quick fix. Since we noticed that, we decided to give that tool to our customers directly. Whoa, didn't want to go there. Then if we look at if a device is in a current IP session, which you can find out down here, you can send a ping down to the device to try to get a response back if it's not doing what it's supposed to. If it's not an IP session, you can send an SMS directly to it. And then last, what's very useful is this find devices nearby. What this does is it sort of crowdsources all the devices on our network, so we can see exactly what devices are doing in that area. So if Hyundai or if another customer has a device that isn't connecting properly, you can use the find devices nearby to see what other devices are doing that are using that same cell tower. So easily pinpoint if it's a device issue or a network issue, see what other devices are doing in that area to help try to pinpoint that. And then in addition to these standard alerts up here, you can create customized alerts based on what you define are the typical usage profile for your device. And how you do that is just in the admin tab. You bring up my alerts. And essentially what you can do is if I bring up one edit, you can come in, give the alert a name, a description, and then choose what that alert is going to apply to. Across all devices on the account, a specific rate plan, going back to the report group that I mentioned, the provisioning tab, or a list of specific devices if you want to do that. Just choose the identifier you're more comfortable with and enter the specifics in there. But say we want to do it across the entire account and say we know that in any given day, every device should be doing something, so we'll put the minimum at 1 kilobyte, but none should be doing more than 5 kilobytes in any given day. If it operates outside that defined pattern in any day, you'll get an email notification, and then you can also decide to perform an automated action on that, whether it be block traffic and put it in the suspend state. And so, that becomes important when, say, your month to date, you have a plan that gives you 20 megabytes included in a month, and you want to avoid overage charges. If you set it at 19 megabytes, once it hits that 19 megabytes, you'll be alerted, and you can suspend the device to avoid overages. So that's what I wanted to run through. I hope I didn't exceed my time too much. But to give you an idea of sort of how Hyundai uses our portal. Okay, perfect. How Hyundai uses our portal, but then also to give you a sense of how other customers in different verticals can use a portal and platform as well. And then I will close by saying that everything in here in the portal itself is also available through APIs to tie into other systems as well. So, okay. Questions?
Great. Question. Go ahead. Identify yourself.
So my whole set of the SR network solution. The one thing that you said that really caught my attention was testing to see if other connections or items are connected, like even down to the tower, are also having problems. Are those items have to be part of on your system, or can you just tell that there are people who are talking off that tower, connected to that tower, that are working fine?
That's a good question. And so it's any device that's talking to the Aeris network. So it doesn't have to be Hyundai-only devices, but any Aeris device that's talking to the network, we can see which tower it's talking to, and that's how we can use it. So the only requirement, it is an Aeris device.
Yeah, a couple. I like the UI, but is it skinnable so a customer can offer this to their customers?
Yes, absolutely. So that is one direction that we're heading, to be able to provide a parent account and then sub-accounts beyond that, to really extend that to customers who want to give the tools to their end customers directly.
When are you heading, or it's available today?
So it is available today, but not fully productized. By the end of this year, it should be fully productized.
The other question is, you showed a provision only, and provision and billing. What about suspend button?
Yes. So that is under the Devices tab here. And under this tab is where we have the traditional device management capabilities, whether it be change rate plan, cancel a device, that sort of thing. If it's in the provision state and you want to force it to billable, not wait for it to generate traffic to switch, you can do that here, but you can also suspend, absolutely.
Okay. And everything you guys declared is the horizontal button?
Correct.
Okay. Question in the back.
I have two questions. Can you comment on the APIs you provide, what sort of business say you might have, and the extensibility of your device support, what kind of devices you support, and protocols you support for devices,
Okay. So for the APIs, they're XML and SOAP-based APIs. And it gives you full functionality for any of the features that are available in the portal here. And then for the devices, we do have a list on the CDMA side. We have a list of supported modules. If you're interested in that, you can please come find me after this, and I'd be more than happy to get you that information. And then on the GSM side, we control it through the SIM card, so any device will work there.
Okay. Any other
Okay.
questions? Oh, quiet crowd.
Okay.
Kevin, thank you for being the first one. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you guys very much.